Breaking, GOP committeeman just publicly executed with 2 bullets to the head. Here's who did it. Nearly 2 months after the attack on the congressional baseball game practice, another unhinged leftist has followed in the footsteps of James T. Hodgkinson, who attempted an assassination on House Majority Whip Steve Scalise. Another GOP victim has been identified as a committeeman in Pennsylvania, and now we know the identity of who shot 2 bullets into his head and why. Brooks Jennings is dead now, and his wife witnessed the entire execution after their unhinged liberal neighbor had enough of the couple's support of President Donald Trump and their opinions within their political party. This isn't the first attempted execution and won't be the last. Democrats can't blame it on any isolated event or mental illness other than liberalism as a disorder. ABC 6 News reports. A man is under arrest, accused of killing his next-door neighbor in West Goshen, Chester County. Police have charged Clayton Carter, 51, in the shooting death of Brooks Jennings. Shortly before 8 p.m. Monday, police responded to the 300 block of Box Elder Drive for a dispute between Carter and Jennings about cursing and video recording in the backyard. Police said they were able to resolve that dispute. Then at approximately 1 a.m. Tuesday, police say the neighbors got into another dispute. Carter told police that Jennings shined a light into his eyes while he was outside. Carter then allegedly pulled the car onto his lawn, shining the high beams of the car on Jennings' property. Carter then allegedly retrieved a .380 semi-automatic handgun from his house and confronted the victim again outside. What happened immediately after proved what a vengeance this liberal had for his neighbor, considering the ruthless manner he took out his aggressions on him. This was all the result of a simple difference of political opinion, which the killer's political party will likely find some way to blame on President Trump. Officials say Carter shot Jennings once in the head, knocking him to the ground. Carter then allegedly stood over Jennings' body and shot him once more in the head, ABC's report continued. The victim was on his own property, police said. Jennings' wife allegedly heard the first gunshot, then saw Carter stand over her husband as he fired the second shot. Police recovered 2 shell casings, the gun and a knife at the scene. 1 shell casing was located on Carter's property. The second shell casing was found on the victim's property, near Jennings' body. Carter has been charged with murder and related offenses, and is currently being held at the Chester County Prison. Neighbor Brian Doherty got emotional when speaking of Jennings. You don't want to sound cliché, you see this on TV all the time, but he is probably the nicest, best guy I've ever met in my whole life. Really, seriously, Doherty said. Perhaps Carter was kind to Doherty for different reasons, because police said this neighbor's claim of the killer being the nicest guy in the world doesn't match up with their past police reports regarding this liberal miscreant. Police say Carter had disputes with a number of other neighbors, and even pulled a gun on Jennings during a past altercation. Neighbors say Carter was a quarrelsome, argumentative man. Court records claim Carter had a history of disputes with multiple neighbors. His front yard was crowded with cars and hand-lettered anti-Trump signs, according to ABC. It's interesting that Trump supporters are constantly blamed as the violent ones when you've never seen a guy in a MAGA hat over a liberal's body, pummeling it full of lead. What is the left going to say now about who the real domestic terrorists are, and why was someone who was likely anti-gun given their political stance in possession of several which he used to commit a crime? The left's own people constantly disprove their claims against conservatives. Here's what we can expect now in the aftermath of this horrific story. Liberals will either ignore it, blame the gun, blame Trump for stirring up people, or claim that the shooter was pushed over the edge by our president and/or his many supporters. Anything but the actual killer himself and his motives which made him repeatedly pull the trigger into this GOP committeeman. The blame will be on anything and everything other than the actual killer himself and his motives which made him repeatedly pull the trigger into this GOP committeeman. The truth is that the left has been stirring hatred for months, using Black Lives Matter and Antifa thugs to do their dirty work, calling for resistance and rebellion against conservatives, and got the blood they wanted. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Breaking News 365 channel. Goodbye and see you again.